What is up, YouTube? Fahros here, coming at you with a real treat. If you're a Battlerite fan, this is a very high-level match between the team of Finlev, Arbs, and Niwa versus K3, God of, and Little Master. Now, you're going to see this is best of 5, so we've got quite a lot of action to cover. Right out the gates, we're already in the middle of things. Already in the fray, you see Niwa, Finlev, and Arbs collectively poking at the other team. Niwa darting back and forth, trying not to take too many shots or shatters from the Varish. Occasionally tossing attacks and trying to go for the orb, which he ended up getting with Finlev there. And he's already got an ult just a few moments into the match, and this team has already got an ult because he has landed so many heals, so many left clicks, and has gotten that first orb. That orb critical to obtaining for your team because it gives your team HP and energy for you first-time viewers out there. You'll see a lot of teams fight over the orb. Right now, a ton of action going on at the top of your screen. Niwa trying to stay out of the mix of things, consistently tossing heals, spacing around, trying to stay mobile while getting some damage on the enemy team and tossing heals on his allies. As you saw, he just tossed one to Arbs and another to Finlev there. Another back to Arbs. And now he's eyeballing this orb. You already see him looking at it. Oh, and it goes down lightning fast for these three heroes. Two of them already debuffed by Varish. And Varish, once he gets you debuffed, does a ton of damage. As you see, Niwa will space when the indicator for that shatter gets put underneath his feet. He wants no part of the damage or silence coming from that. Finlev with a big combo, but the enemy Taya K3 uses his R very wisely and whirlwinds out of it. If you get caught with that wind bomb, look out. Look out for the two Tayas to be setting up their damage with those wind bombs. It's like little wind grenades they'll be throwing on the ground. And it sucks people in. And if they can get the wind bomb and you have no escape, right here you see Finlev go for a little damage. He didn't get much because he was scared of the enemy Taya ult backing off. But you can line up a lot of damage with those wind bombs. Big ult out of Arbs with the Freya. Got some damage, but Niwa falls. So many people low HP here. Finlev drops as well, and Arbs shortly follows. Tons of damage coming out of these two teams. God of with the MVP there. But triple range out of God of's team. We got Paloma, Taya, and Varish. Varish, I really like the composition from their team. Varish, you know, really whittle you down kind of range DPS. He's just consistent pressure, but not too much burst outside of his ulti. And the Taya is the polar opposite of that, I would say. Not a ton of consistent damage going out from her, but boy, do you have to be careful and watch out for her big burst damage combos with the wind bomb and the X strike like I was talking about earlier. Alright, so immediately into the second round, both teams charge right to the center and are trying to establish positioning for when this orb comes up in a few moments. Niwa poking at the Varish, gets caught by a shatter, no big deal though because he wasn't debuffed. If you were debuffed, he would have been silenced there and taken additional damage. Orb is up and wow, Godov's team just bursted down in an instant. I mean, in this type of game, the older really, I would like to see some EXQs out of him, which you see one on your screen right now, that big sand bubble, and what that does is reflect enemy projectiles back at them. So a lot of olders you'll see put an EXQ on top of the orb when it spawns or shortly before it spawns, so if the enemy tries to attack into that, it's all for naught. And this would be especially effective against triple range DPS. Arbs going and gets knocked back from the Taya, and this is good mid control here. This is really good. You see Niwa's team has the enemies pushed out. They're not able to go for the orb quite yet. They end up getting it. Niwa finishes it off there. Good stuff from the older. Space is out of the Taya damage, and now he's just trying to... He's got an ult. Let's see if he opts to use it here. Or no, they have a Paloma ult up currently, and as the Paloma ult fades, he ulted Arbs, and Arbs was able to land on him and get huge damage on the enemy Taya, sitting at 24 HP currently. If they could find a way to get a kill here, it would be huge. They'd be in a 3v2 situation, but Niwa's just trying to heal up himself and his allies and try to stay ahead. He wants to make sure he establishes that they won that trade, and they don't want to dive and be overly aggressive because that could lead to a quick death. Arbs goes in with the ult. Doesn't quite get a kill, but the Fahros, you can see at the top right of your screen, only has 30 HP. Arms is only at 30-something as well, down to 16. Niwa's healing him up. They go for the orb. Okay, that's going to be a nice boost of HP and energy to everyone on the team. But matters are tense here. Any combo could finish off, you know, 3 or more than half of the players on the field right now could die to any Taya combo. So both teams are playing very safe. Niwa tossing out E's, trying to get some damage with that hourglass. And if they don't have an escape to walk out of that, and they're already attacking when he tosses that, very difficult to escape, and he gets a kill with it there on Fahros. 3v2. Let's see if he can... Okay, he opts to ult Arbs there. Arbs was taking big damage and takes him right out of the fight. Boom, falls on him. And this game is tied up 1-1. Niwa, MVP of the round. Lots of clutch. Hourglass tossing, lots of clutch. Ults, I really like the play out of him there. Let's see what Battlerite he decides to go with here. I would think Shared Fate would get him a lot of damage in a 3v3 environment, but he goes for the heal Battlerite, which is gonna reduce the cooldowns of himself and his allies that are hit by his heal. So he wants to have those big cooldowns. What this tells me is that he's not trying to get as much damage as possible, per se, but he's more trying to just keep his teammates alive from, you know, the potentially very scary damage and cleave damage of the Paloma that we haven't really talked about yet of the enemy team. He's just trying to keep his teammates alive by giving them their cooldowns and their defenses back as much as possible. Trading hits here with the Fahros. You'll see he never just DPSs or just heals. And this is a sign of a really top tier older player. He's constantly switching between tossing a couple attacks, putting out some aggression, nice EXQ there to sort of space control and wall off the damage from that Taya. But he'll constantly switch between damaging and healing his allies. So he's not predictable with consistent damage. He's not just, you know, pumping constant damage into one of the enemies so they know they need to blow a counter or they need to blow an escape. He's very, not random, but he's very unpredictable with his approach here. And it is doing well for his team. They have a commanding lead this round. He lands another E on the Taya. The Taya's rooted because of his tier 1 Battlerite. Fahros just used his counter. I wonder if they're going to dive this Fahros here. He's low HP, has no counter. Finlev landed a wind bomb. No one's dead yet. Paloma's incapped. They don't get much off of it. All we're seeing is his teammates are low HP at this point. They've started to get whittled away. Man, everyone's low. And Gods of Teams just fires back. So anytime Niwa's team pushes forward, they just get their HP bar gets chewed right through. Enemy Taya coming in on Finlev. Finlev opts to walk behind the wall and line of sight a little bit there, even though he had ult. And then once the pressure was off him, turns back around and helps his team get the kill. Beautiful play and beautiful patience from Finlev there. Finish off the kill on the Fahros, and this looks like it's gonna be another win for the team in Niwa. Another round here, even though they're all low. I don't think they're in any danger. Arbs manages to fall to the Paloma ulti, but I think he was just doing his part to secure the kill there. So, very good stuff. And yeah, I really, we don't get to see quite the damage numbers Finlev put out there, but I really liked the patience out of him. That we saw that even though he had his ult up, he would still line of sight to avoid some damage and then peek back out behind that right wall when it was appropriate. This round, Niwa opted for the Battlerite that reduces the damage done and healing received on the target that he stands up time. It's a pretty all-around strong Battlerite. We see the enemy Taya spec for Slayer, so she has increased damage on targets below 30% HP, while Finlev got the Battlerite Inspiration to increase his energy gain. I actually like the energy gain more but this, we'll see how it turns out for K3 and the Taya on the opposing team here. See if he can get some crazy burst combos and take someone right from 30% to 0, which is entirely possible with Taya if she gets off a good wind bomb. Nice EXQ there from Niwa. Helps secure the orb. Arbs poking at the enemy, tossing his hammers. You see him at the top of your screen with that Freya. Excuse me. Finlev's already managed to get nuked by the Fahros. Fahros already pumping out tons of damage this round. Well, healing him up. Has an ult. Tosses an hourglass at the orb and gets it. Let's see when he decides, how he decides to use his meter here. Meanwhile, that Varish on the enemy team. Ooh, gets blown up! Speaking of the Varish, gets blown up. What kind of damage came out from Arbs and Finlev there? I don't even know. We're seeing all this from, Niwa's perspective, who gets caught by the Wind Bomb extra combo I was speaking about earlier, and that Slayer Battlerite with increased damage on targets less than 30% HP definitely played there. Now it's down to a 2v2, and I gotta be honest, K3's team has the advantage with that healer still up. It's gonna be problematic for Arbs and Finlev to battle back from this. Alright, well, let's see. Goes for the EXE, tries to get the snare, but the K3 opts to use some meter and whirlwind himself back to safety. Finlev poking away, goes for the Hail Mary X-Strike and gets it! I love the commitment there. He didn't set it up with a Wind Bomb, he just went for it and got it, and those are the kind of trades you're gonna need if you try to battle your way back from this kind of situation. He burst out the Paloma, she drops, he's caught on the Wind Bomb here, but haste out, and now him and Arbs are just picking away at the enemy Taya. What a match! Nice landing on the hammer, knocks back the Taya. Finlev goes for another X-Strike, no setup, and gets it, and then follows up with a hasted boomerang. What a play, what surgical accuracy out of Finlev there. And him and Arbs, I have to give him credit. They stay alive for so long without a healer. Set up their burst, remain patient, got a kill on the enemy Paloma, who's not easy to kill by any means. And they ended up getting a kill in that situation that looked seemingly unwinnable. As soon as I saw it get to that 2v2 situation, I go, oh man, K3's team is almost for sure taking this one, and they proved me wrong. This is why I don't make predictions mid-match in my commentary. Moving on, Niwa's double debuffed. You can tell by the blue and purple circles that were underneath his character portrait, just like you can see one of the blue ones underneath Finlev, and a purple one underneath Finlev now, which means if he gets hit by the Varish Shatter, it does much more damage and debuffs him further by means of a silence, or, you know, it also gives the Varish HP. Varish a pretty complicated character, but if you can pull him off at a high level like Little's doing here, you know, you can really put a damper on someone's, you can really rain on someone's parade when they're trying to do some damage. Dodge this! You hear enemy Taya on her ult. Niwa goes for the spacebar Petrify. Narrow miss there on the Petrify, and he hasn't been able to keep up with healing, and his Freya and his Taya fall. Varish was putting out tons of damage and pressure on the Freya there, and the Taya ult, when she mounts up and she can chase you down. There's no getting away, there's no running. She's got your number when she's on that ult. Little master with the MVP there. We were calling out his debuffs, we were calling out his shatters. He clearly did some work there, and we didn't get to see all the damage he put on the Freya, but what we did see was Arbs go into the middle of the field and then just get blown up. That was the last we've seen of him, so we had to assume that Varish pulled some serious weight that round. Alright, Niwa sort of sitting in the back here, tossing out his hourglasses and, you know, the occasional heal on his teammate. You see Arbs trying to pressure Varish. One of Varish's weaknesses, he's not a very mobile character. And outside of his counter, he really has next to nothing to get away from you outside of using meter. So very smart for Arbs to try to go in there if he notices the counter's down. Arbs, speaking of, gets a counter of his own, draws him in a little bit. Finlev and Niwa are poking away at the same time. Enemy Taya tries to push in, gets greeted with a 50% HP loss, and has to go back to the top right corner of the screen. And this Varish is almost down. His counter's down. Arbs all over him at the moment. Meanwhile, Finlev gets a kill on the enemy Taya. The Varish follows, and this is a 3v1 situation. This is 4 rounds to 2 for Team Niwa. The Paloma just, saying, hey, let's move on to the next round. I'm not going to try to prolong it. I think Finlev actually used his whirlwind on Arbs there trying to steal the kill. You know, I'm not sure if that's what got him MVP or not, but either way, little friendly banter there you can see at the end of that round. These guys are clearly friends. These guys all are very familiar with each other, you know, teammates through and through. Having a little fun at the end of the round there. Arbs goes in with a counter right off the bat. It's already gone, but he tried to bait out some ranged attack, and, you know, Freya's counter, if she gets hit during it, draws all the enemy teammates towards her. So if he could have gotten that, I don't blame him for tossing it out there. If he could have gotten it, might have been a lot of setup for Niwa and Finlev to follow up on. And he goes for it again there, but the enemy team's doing a great job not hitting them, so might want to reconsider when he's tossing that out. He gets an end cap on the Varus, you'll see at the right-hand side of your screen. Just got out. Arbs lands a counter, hammers the Varus back. Meanwhile, Niwa and Finlev are able to just sit back and toss out all this damage and all this pressure because Arbs is making all the space for him. Excellent aggression out of there, Freya. But it comes at a price. He's down to 127 HP. Let's see if Niwa can get him up a little bit here. He is the lowest HP on the battlefield now, down to 100. The aggression's taking its toll. The enemy team is really just counter-poking at this point. They're playing defensive and counter-poking, trying to capitalize on what may be some over-aggression on Arbs' behalf at this point. Niwa opts to ult the Taya. Doesn't get a stun off of it, but Arbs and Finlev are trying to capitalize off of this end cap. Niwa spaces over, trying to get renews on his teammates here while tossing out the E's and the left clicks. He's always trying to maintain the Sands of Time debuff on the enemies while keeping the renew on his teammates. It's a lot to juggle, and you see, despite how hard he tried there, you just can't always, you can't always keep him up. Sometimes it's just too much. And Older is a character, who has 3 healing charges, so he has to be Niwa has to try to make sure he lands those heals. He only has 3 charges at a time. It's not a character like Paloma that can sit there and left click and heal whenever she wants. And of course, it's not as much healing per click, but she can do it indefinitely. So if Gadov on that Paloma manages to get her head and manages to actively stay safe and consistently heal up her teammates, it can snowball to where her team had a massive advantage. And they just... Arbs tried to get aggressive and not let her do that last round, but just got out of control over time. And they did a great job of counter-poking, like I said. Moving back to this round, let's see. They got the orb there, the enemy team, that is. Blue team trying to fire back here, trying to regain their bearings. Niwa's got Renew up on himself, and Arbs. It just expired on Arbs. He's also got it on Finlev. He's doing a great job of maximizing his healing here. I really want to stress that because that's what's keeping them in this match. But also, the second he has to space away from Arbs, I mean, look at Arbs' HP on the Freya. He's down to 20%, if not lower. And Older's healing being as weak as it is, it's going to be very hard for Niwa to try to save him from this. Arbs really has to take caution. Finlev also dropping really low. Blue team is, all their HP bars are a fraction of the enemy red teams, and you see the Varus moving in with the counter. Paloma and Taya coming in from the mid. Niwa's desperately running away. Arbs goes out like a champ. Arbs and Finlev go out like complete champions, swinging to their dying breath. And red team just overwhelmingly takes the last 2 rounds and is tied up 4 rounds to 4 here. This being either a tournament match or a tournament scrim, I'm not entirely sure. Niwa sent me the replay, said this would make some good commentary material, that it was a close match, and by golly, it is. We're down to the final round here in this 1-5 set. Niwa gets an early root on Varus. Arbs trying to follow up, procs the counter though, so we're pretty much back to neutral on that trade. Niwa debuffed, Finlev debuffed. Niwa trying to keep his teammates up. Finlev poking away at the enemy, gets a wind bomb and a quick little left click there on the enemy. Taya is happy to win that trade. They go for the orb and they get it. Niwa and Arbs on his Freya. Excellent damage on the orb there. We're able to secure it for their team, and that's a big energy swing for blue team here. You can bet your behinds that blue team has much more energy than enemy team here, even though Niwa's starting to get chopped. He's down at 80-something HP. Red team trying to move in on him, but Finlev fighting back with his ulti. You see no one else has ulted yet. Oh, Niwa landing the root on Varus again. That's the second one. Nice counter out of Arbs. Draws in, and the red team's scrambling at this point. Niwa wins another E! That would have rooted him again had it not killed him. And now it's in a 3v2 situation. Niwa has an ult. Opts to use it on the Taya here, but nice, great reactions, in fact, from the enemy Taya. Tay3 used meter to whirlwind himself, avoid the Niwa ulti. And Niwa and Finlev are very low here. They could easily, there could be a turnaround, 1 Taya combo, and somebody dies. You see Finlev dodging to the bottom left of your screen. trying to stay out of the enemy Teya's aggression. The enemy Paloma's at 7 HP. Arb's doing work up there, but retreats to make sure he gets healed up before he goes back in and trying to get the killing blow. Another orb for blue team. Niwa gets comboed! Ults himself at the last second, dodges the left click, and lives! Spaces away. Meanwhile, Arbs manages to take down the Paloma. Finlev takes down the enemy Teya, and like true brothers in arms, through the power of friendship, camaraderie, teamwork, they band together, and by the skin of their teeth, win the race to 5 rounds. Wow, what a match! I hope you all on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or wherever it is you're watching this, I hope you all enjoyed the match. This has been Fahros with the commentary at youtube.com/FahrosTTTT, twitch.com/Fahros, twitch.tv/Fahros, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that action. Stay tuned. Post in the comments below if you would like to see some more high-level Battlerite gameplay like this. I would be more than happy to bring it to you. Thank you very much. Until next time, take care. Peace out.